In this video, we are going to be designing and sublimating onto socks for World Down Syndrome Day. And we're going to get started right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So happy, so excited, so glad, so every single thing to have you guys tuning into another video. Guys, I really do care and I really do appreciate all of your support, and I am happy that you guys are following and watching and learning and growing. Thank you so much. But in this video, we are going to be designing and also sublimating onto socks for World Down Syndrome Day. Now, World Down Syndrome Day is marked each and every single year on March the 21st. Okay, so every single year on March the 21st, World Down Syndrome Day is observed to create awareness about Down syndrome. So I am going to be supporting. I hope you are going to be supporting. Let us all support. Let us all celebrate. Let us all bring about awareness together on March the 21st. So make sure you come out in your socks. Make sure that you show them off. You style in them. You walk in them. Whether you're at home, whether you're at school, whether you're at work. So March the 21st is World Down Syndrome Day, and we are going to be doing it. So that is why in this video we are going to be basically designing some socks and sublimating them, and we're going to be wearing them on March the 21st to showcase and bring about awareness for World Down Syndrome Day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is your first time here, I want to thank you so much for stopping short. My name is Alan Thompson and you're here on the AT Prince channel, so welcome. And for those who are the continuous subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Thank you so much for watching. And I know I am talking so much right now, so we're just going to stop with all the talking and jump right into the video, because that is what you guys want to see, the video. So as I normally do it, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put all the tools, the resources, the equipments, everything will be on the side of the screen right there for you, so you can take a screenshot. You can pause the video, you can go back and look and see every single item, tool, resources, supplies that I use. Also, you must note that there's no fear. If you want to get any of the tools, resources, supplies, anything, single thing that I use in this video is going to be down in the description. So you don't have to run anywhere. Down in the description section, you will find all the links so you can purchase any of the items, resources, and tools, supplies that I'll be using in this video. And when you use the links down in the description, it really helps me and gives me a boost. So make sure to use those links down there, guys. It will really help me out a lot. So let's jump in and see what we're going to be using in this video today. Alright, so let's take a look at the items, resources, tools I'll be using. I'm going to start here first. I'm going to be using the 11x17 A4 paper. I have my X-Acto knife, a cutting knife here for box, pencil, ruler. I have our socks. Now these socks are 95% polyester, 3% spandex, and 2% rubber. And all of the links to these items, these stuff here, will be down in the description. So if you're looking for socks, you will find the link down in the description. Okay, I have some paper, I have my heat tape just in case, and I have this long cardboard here. And what we're going to be doing with this cardboard here, right, we are going to be making a sock jig. So if you never made one before, and if you don't know how to, I'm going to be showing you also in this video how to create your own sock jig. Of course, we're going to be using my Epson Workforce WD710 printer, which was converted into a sublimation printer, and of course the HPN Signature Series heat press from Heat Press Nation. All right, let's get started. All right, so we are creating our sock jigs first before we proceed forward. So this is one that I would have created a long time before, and it's kind of flimsy now and flexible and worn out due to the heat. I mean, it can still work, but I'm choosing to get a much thicker material and to redo them. Now, how do I make my sock jigs, and what do I do, and how do I measure them? Now, you always want your sock jig to be much bigger than the sock. So now that we have our two pieces ready to go, we are going to make sure that we trim them down to suit. So these are 4.5 inches, 4.5 both sides. Just gonna place the sock here like this, and I'm just gonna gently take my pencil and make a nice little drawing to cut around the edges. I mean, I could also use my my scissors, but I'm just going to give myself a gauge to start with, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but just something to start with. So I just have my little round edges there. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I can trim, trim, and trim. And what we can do right now at this point is actually try the sock on to see how it fits. And this is going on exactly how I want it to go on. Yep, guys, this is perfect. This is perfect. Take a look at that. This is exactly how I want it to go on. So here, as you can see now, we have our sock jigs inserted into our socks. These socks are ready for sublimating, but we're going to jump into the Silhouette Studio program first, create our design, and then we're going to get into sublimating. So we're here in the Silhouette Studio program right now, and these are the two designs that I'll be using to sublimate onto the socks. I created these designs from scratch, and just to give you a quick overview or a quick way that you can create your own designs, Silhouette Studio has a lot of different images, features, shapes, and colors. So I just came over here to my shapes, I selected the rectangle, and I created a rectangle. In this case, you can call this a square. I went over to the fill panel, selected fill pattern, and I selected a pattern that suits me. And in this case, this was the first pattern and the second was this one. Afterwards, what I did was simply created text, and the text that I created was WDSD 2022, and that stands for World Down Syndrome Day. And I put 2022 on it so I can remember the date that I actually created this design. And you can just head over to your text style panel where you're able to choose your respective font or fonts that you like, and then you can give it the color that you so desire. So that is basically a quick overview of how I got my designs created. Now, once my designs were created and finished and completed, I went over to File and Print, and I'm using 11x17 A4 paper. So I went over to File and Print to preview my image first. We proceed forward down to Print, and I'm using the Workforce Epson 7710 printer. My media type is on high quality plain paper, and the quality is up to best. The next step from here is to print. So let us head over to the printer. So I have my designs already printed out here. As you can see, these are the colors that I'm going to be working with, and we're going to be sublimating it onto 2 pairs of socks. So we're going to start with the back of the sock first. So we're going to take away these designs here, and we're going to start off with the back. So this is going to be the back of the sock. Now on your socks, normally you can see there's a crease to the front of this one. Normally the crease goes over your toes or around that area. Now what I'm going to do is to line this up here, and if you can see right now is a little bit off. The sock is a little bit too high, so I have the option of bringing this down. So just so you can see here, if I line this up with the bottom here and the top, we have some extra going off of the sock, so the entire sock will not be filled. If I turn it this way, the entire sock still will not be filled. But I have a lot of choices here. I can either bring down the sock some more, enough so that when I fit it back here, it can just be correctly in place how I want it to be. But because these socks are especially for me and I'm going to be using shoes, right, I will sacrifice and allow the bottom piece to stay white and the top to be colored. So just to clarify that so you can have a greater understanding, I'm going to start from the top here, make sure that the top of my sock is going to be covered in colored or my design, and the tip of my sock down here can do without. I can leave this white, and the reason for that, as I mentioned, is because I'm going to be putting on shoes with my socks, so you will not be able to see my toes area. Now if I was doing this for a customer who will be wearing slippers or sandals, then I would go through the process of shortening the sock, pulling down the sock on the sock jig to make the entire sock colorful. Okay, so we're going to just line up properly here. I'm going to take the next sock and do the same. Make sure it lines up properly. And once this is done and ready to go, then we can basically sublimate. So let's go over to the heat press. So we're here by the heat press now, and I have my heat press set to 400 Fahrenheit for 60 seconds on a nice light to medium pressure. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to put some paper down on my heat press. I want to make sure that none of that ink goes into my rubber mat here. So just to protect yourself, you can put down some paper. I'm going to then take the socks and I'm going to put them on the heat press. Make sure you have the correct size down here on the heat press. I'm then going to take the image or the design I have here, and I'm going to turn it over and lay it completely down, making sure before I press it that everything falls into place exactly how it is supposed to. And once I'm satisfied, I'll use another piece of paper to cover the entire thing. Alright, and here we go. You can see clearly some brown spots. And then we're going to take up our design. And you can clearly see the colors here in it. And look what is left on this paper. Now our next step now is to flip it and turn it and do the front. But there's a trick to it. Now this is going to be hot. It is hot. And normally what you want to do here is not just turn it on this side and sublimate. What you need to do is you need to make sure that you turn the sock so you can see some of that color. So you need to turn the sock on both ends, this side and also this side. You want to make sure you get enough color on both sides so that when you do sublimate again, those colors can touch. Now what will happen if you don't do this? If you do not do this, this is highly possible that you will end up with a white line or a white seam going right down through the sock. So you want to just pull in and turn. Make sure you get a little of that color on this side, and this one here is basically pretty ready to go. Yes. So this side now is going to be a little different and tricky. The reason for that is because we have here some wording, and you would want the wording to line up in the middle properly. So what I can do, I can actually go ahead and cut this in the middle and do them separately, or I can leave it and do them. What I'm going to do is turn it around, look at the words from behind, and I'm going to take my time and line them up. And once again, I always say, if you're not sure, do not commit to it. And we're counting down. I'm going to pull out the drawer, take off the paper first. Then I'm going to take off our design. Wow. Guys, look at that. Take a look at this. Take a look at that. And the next thing I would do is to take off the sock from our makeshift sock jig. So we're going to take off, we're going to rest these on the table to cool down, take out the sock jig, we're going to do the next set, and then we're going to do a final review on all of them. So we're here over by the table right now, and these are the final products here. I've taken these ones out of the sock jig so you can see them here. And remember, we left off that piece down there. Once you put your foot in the sock, you wouldn't be able to see it. You can see our seam came out not too bad. At this side you can see we had some overlapping. It's kind of hard to see it like this. Let me try my best. There we go. We had a little overlapping in terms of different colors going on, different colors, but sometimes that may happen. And then we have these ones here, which I'm going to take out of the sock jig shortly. And we had a little white stripe at the top of this one, whereas this one did not, which means we did not take the image right to the top. And that is my fault, guys. Sometimes it happens, you know, but these are personally for me to use, so I'm totally good with these. But if you're doing it for a customer, make sure you take your time, make sure you go through the step-by-step process, and make sure that you line up all of your points correctly. So all that is left to do right now is to take these off, and then we are going to try these on and see how they look. And there we go, guys. Take a look at that. These are my socks. And if you can't see the writing properly, let me just go on the side, and it says WDSD. As I mentioned before, you can see the white line around the edges because it did not push the image as high as possible. But these are especially for me to use, so this is really not a problem for me. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the process. Let me know if you have another strategy, any ideas that I could do. I'll gladly surely take them and implement them in other videos moving forward. So I want to thank you guys so much. Make sure to wear your socks on March the 21st to help bring about awareness and to show your support. And remember, we make your prints and fashion come.